The concept of living in the last times is a significant theme in Christian eschatology, reflecting the belief that the current age is the final period before the fulfillment of God's ultimate plan for humanity. This entry explores the biblical basis for this belief, the characteristics of the last times, and the implications for Christian living. Biblical basis. The New Testament provides numerous references to the last times, often referred to as the last days or end times. These terms denote a period marked by both spiritual challenges and the anticipation of Christ's return. The Apostle Paul, in his letters, frequently addresses the nature of these times. In 2 Timothy 3:1, he warns, "But understand this, in the last days terrible times will come." This passage sets the tone for understanding the moral and spiritual climate of the last times. The Apostle Peter also speaks to this theme, urging believers to live with an awareness of the times. In 2 Peter 3:3-4, he writes, "Most importantly, you must understand that in the last days scoffers will come, scoffing and following their own evil desires. Where is the promise of his coming? They will ask." This skepticism and moral decline are indicative of the last times. Characteristics of the last times. The last times are characterized by a variety of signs and conditions, as outlined in the New Testament. These include 1. Moral decline. As noted in 2 Timothy 3:2-5, people will become lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, without love of good, treacherous, reckless, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. 2. Spiritual deception. Jesus warns of false prophets and false Christs in Matthew 24:24, stating, "For false Christs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders that would deceive even the elect, if that were possible." 3. Persecution of believers. In Matthew 24:9, Jesus foretells, "Then they will deliver you over to be persecuted and killed, and you will be hated by all nations because of my name." 4. Global distress. Luke 21:25-26 describes signs in the heavens and distress among nations. There will be signs in the sun and moon and stars, and on the earth dismay among the nations, bewildered by the roaring of the sea and the surging of the waves. Men will faint from fear and anxiety over what is coming upon the earth, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Implications for Christian living. Living in the last times calls for a distinct response from believers, characterized by vigilance, faithfulness, and hope. The New Testament provides guidance on how Christians should conduct themselves during this period. 1. Watchfulness and prayer. Jesus emphasizes the importance of staying alert and prayerful in Luke 21:36. "But stay awake at all times, praying that you may have the strength to escape all that is about to happen, and to stand before the Son of Man." 2. Holiness and godliness. In 2 Peter 3:11-12, believers are encouraged to live holy and godly lives. Since everything will be dissolved in this way, what kind of people ought you to be? You ought to conduct yourselves in holiness and godliness as you anticipate and hasten the coming of the day of God. 3. Encouragement and community. Hebrews 10:24-25 urges believers to support one another. "And let us consider how to spur one another on to love and good deeds. Let us not neglect meeting together, as some have made a habit, but let us encourage one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." Fourth proclamation of the gospel. The Great Commission remains central, as believers are called to share the gospel with urgency, knowing that the time is short. Matthew 28:19-20. The last times, as depicted in Scripture, present both challenges and opportunities for believers. By adhering to biblical teachings and maintaining a focus on Christ's return, Christians are called to live with purpose and hope in these final days. 7 things that protect you from the last days onslaught. 1. Pray every morning. 2. Read the Bible every day. 3. Quickly confess sin and receive the cleansing of Jesus' blood. 4. Put on the whole armor of God. 5. Make a covenant with your eyes. 6. Maintain a strong relationship with those to whom you are spiritually accountable. 7. Regularly attend a church that teaches from the Bible.